The stars painted a tapestry of light across the vastness of space, their brilliance a stark contrast to the chaotic control panel of the starship Rising Dawn. Captain Jonah Wells had spent years dreaming of this moment, yet reality had taken a turn he never anticipated. Struggling to regain control amid searing winds of the cosmic storm, he shouted over the cacophony, "Engineering report. What's our status?" "Bad news, Captain," came the voice of Mira, the chief engineer, crackling through the intercom. "We've lost stabilizers on the aft section. We're heading for a crash landing. Brace for impact." Jonah called, gripping the controls as the ship spun into an uncontrollable dive. Alarms shrieked, warning lights flashed, and for a fleeting moment he thought of home, of quiet nights and Earth's familiar air. Would he ever see it again? The ship bucked violently, and with a deafening crash, it slammed into the planet's surface, the world blurring to black. Jonah woke, his body heavy and groggy. There were no alarms, no familiar hum of the engines. It took a moment to gather his thoughts, his surroundings coming into focus. Bright greens and radiant colors filled his view. "What happened?" he murmured, pushing himself up. "Mira," he tried, but the silence around him was thick like the air after a storm. Struggling to his feet, Jonah stumbled out of the wreckage and found himself in a stunning jungle, vibrant flora framing a surreal backdrop. "Hello? Is anyone there?" Jonah called, his voice cracking. As if in response, a group of figures emerged from the trees. They were unlike anything he had ever seen, tall and graceful with skin that sparkled like the night sky and eyes that seemed to reflect the essence of their lush surroundings. One stepped forward, a female with luminous blue skin. "You should not be here," she said, her voice melodic yet filled with a strange authority. Jonah squinted, trying to comprehend. "I'm lost. I crashed." "We can see that," she interrupted gently, examining him with an intensity that felt oddly comforting. "Are you injured?" "I don't think so," Jonah replied, feeling more at ease. "I'm Captain Jonah Wells. I was on a scientific mission." "We are the Illyrians," she said, her expression becoming softer. "I am Alara. We found you strangely after your crash. Thank you for coming." Jonah are the back of his neck, still shaken but intrigued by her. "I'm glad you did." More Illyrians gathered around. A male with striking silver hair stepped forward, his eyes narrowing. "What do you want on our world, human?" he asked. Thorin, Alara admonished softly. "He's not a threat. He needs help." Jonah cleared his throat. "I'm not here to cause trouble. My ship was damaged in the storm. I just need to contact my team." "Contact them?" Thorin raised an eyebrow. "You mean if they are alive?" Jonah felt something tighten in his chest. "We have protocols. They'll be looking for me," he assured. "If your ship is indeed as damaged as it appears, it might take time," Alara suggested. "You may stay with us." Jonah nodded, grateful. "I appreciate it. Just point me towards a communication system or a part of the jungle that has a signal." "There are no signals here," she interrupted. "But we can help you repair your ship." "Repair my ship?" It felt daunting but invigorating at the same time. "That's incredible. Can you show me the way?" "Follow me," Alara said, gesturing for him to stride alongside her. As they navigated through the dense vegetation, Jonah absorbed every detail. The plants glowed faintly, almost like they were alive, and small creatures flitted between the leaves. "What kind of place is this?" he asked, unable to contain his curiosity. "This is Carries 9. We are guardians of this world," Alara explained, a hint of pride in her voice. "We live in harmony with the land." "And your people?" Jonah inquired. "The Illyrians value connection," she replied. "We share our strengths and protect our own. Isolation is for those who fear the world." "I get that," Jonah chuckled. "My world, Earth, has a lot of isolation too. It's why I signed up for this mission. To explore, to discover." "Then you understand our ways," Alara said, glancing back at him, her eyes sparkling. "We have much to teach you." "Teach me?" He chuckled again. "You've already saved my life." They arrived at a makeshift community, where structures fashioned from organic materials lay nestled within the trees. Illyrians moved with effortless grace, exchanging laughter and communication. Alara turned to Jonah, a thoughtful expression crossing her face. "You are different from us. Do you believe you can fit in here?" "I think I can try," Jonah replied earnestly. "But it's going to be an adjustment. Your values are distinct. Embrace them," she encouraged. "Allow yourself to be open. We will not judge. Jonah's heart raced as he observed the way Alara's presence seemed to draw others in, her charisma a magnet. Another Illyrian approached, a curly-haired woman named Lyra, and offered Jonah a vibrant fruit. Eat this. It will help heal you, she said with a smile. Thank you, Jonah replied, taking a bite. The explosion of flavor was astounding. You taste the world around you, Lyra said, watching him with curiosity. And despite the storm, you still sought a connection. I guess it's true, Jonah agreed. I've always believed relationships make us stronger. It's a fundamental part of who I am. Then you will find a place here, Alara said, warmth radiating from her. But first, we need to work on your ship. Right? Jonah said, feeling a newfound determination. Let's get started then. As they gathered around the remnants of the rising dawn, Jonah felt something shift inside him. This world, these people. They had extended their hands to help him, strangers but allies in an unfamiliar yet inviting environment. He found himself wanting to know more, to build something beautiful here even against the odds. Let's do this together, Jonah declared, locking eyes with Alara, feeling the spark between them ignite. Chapter 2, Unlikely Bonds. Sunlight filtered through the massive trees of Carries 9, casting intricate patterns on the ground as Jonah returned to the wreckage of the rising dawn. The Illyrians had gathered, each person lending a hand. Alara was at the forefront, her eyes shining with determination. Today we begin the restoration, Alara said, her voice firm yet kind. What parts do you need help with first? Jonah took a deep breath, scanning the scattered remnants of his ship. The stabilizers are critical. If we can fix those, I can get the systems operational again. But I'm going to need tools, raw materials. Alara nodded. Follow me. I know where we can find what you need. As they walked deeper into the community, Alara pointed out various plants and trees. These vines are strong, perfect for reinforcing your ship. And the crystals here? She gestured to a cluster of sparkling minerals nearby. They can amplify your energy system. Wow, I didn't even know your world had this kind of stuff, Jonah said, amazed. This could work. Together, we can make anything possible, Alara asserted, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. They collected the materials, Alara expertly weaving together the vines. Jonah, unsure of how to replicate her technique, tried to mimic her movements. How do you know what to do? He asked, frustrated when the vines slipped through his fingers. It's about understanding the materials, she explained patiently. You have to feel their energy. Feel their energy? Jonah shook his head, trying to grasp the concept. Back on Earth, we relied on machinery and technology. Technology has its place, Alara admitted, but there's something to be said for working with nature, for being in tune with it. Before Jonah could respond, Thorin, the Illyrian with silver hair, approached them. Are you sure allowing him to lead this project is wise? He asked, an edge of skepticism in his voice. He's an outsider. Thorin, we need to act, Alara replied firmly. Jonah is trying to connect with us. He can teach us as well. Thorin's expression softened slightly. I just want to ensure our home isn't put in danger. I understand, Jonah interjected, but I promise I'll handle this with care. Then show us what you can do, Thorin said, crossing his arms, curiosity lingering. Jonah felt a rush of determination. All right. If I can get into the ship, I'll demonstrate how I'd fix things. With Alara and Thorin supporting him, Jonah navigated back to the wreckage. Inside, he found tools scattered about, most of them intact. This is good, he muttered to himself. If I can just, A sharp pain shot through his hand as he cut himself on a piece of metal. He cursed softly. Alara rushed in, her expression worried. Jonah, are you okay? I'm fine. Just a little scratch, he said, trying to downplay it. The truth was, he felt an unexpected warmth at her concern. I can handle this. Let me see, she insisted, gently taking his hand. The moment her fingers brushed against his skin, a shiver ran through him. You need to clean this to prevent infection. Thorin, observing the interaction, cleared his throat. Maybe we should focus more on the ship than on wounds? Jonah laughed awkwardly, trying to shake off his embarrassment. Right? Let's get back to it. With Alara guiding, Jonah worked meticulously alongside her. They began attaching the vines to the damaged sections, trying to stabilize the ship's framework. As they worked, they exchanged stories, he about Earth, she about Carries 9. Your world sounds beautiful but also chaotic, Alara mused, tying another vine securely. A place of constant noise, movement. How do you find peace? It's not always easy, Jonah admitted, glancing at her. That's why exploring the stars was so appealing. I wanted to escape the chaos and find something new, maybe even peaceful. And you have found it here, she observed, looking around at the tranquil surroundings. Yeah, I guess I have, Jonah replied, his heart racing at her gaze. You've all welcomed me in a way I didn't expect. Because you were worth knowing, Alara replied, her tone sincere. Tom slipped away as they continued working, laughter and camaraderie flowing between them. Thorin eventually returned, a small smirk on his face. Perhaps he's not completely useless after all, he teased lightly, earning a playful punch from Alara. I can prove myself, Jonah said with renewed confidence. Just give me a little more time. Alara leaned closer, their shoulders almost touching. You're doing remarkable work, Jonah. Thanks, he said, feeling a warmth spread through him. With your help, I might just be able to achieve something incredible. As they assembled the final piece of the framework together, Jonah's thoughts drifted. What if I can make this ship fly again? He said, catching Alara's gaze. What will that mean for us? I believe it will create a bridge, she said softly, her eyes sparkling with hope. Not just for you, but for both our worlds. Imagine the possibilities, Jonah replied, excitement bubbling in his chest. If I can contact Earth if this works. It will work, Alara said, confidence filling her voice. We will make it work. Just then, a commotion echoed from the nearby trees. A group of Illyrians appeared, led by Lyra carrying armfuls of additional materials. We thought you could use more help. Lyra exclaimed, her face radiating enthusiasm. Thank you. Jonah said, energized by their support. This will really make a difference. As they all gathered to assist, Jonah felt an unusual sense of belonging. Hey, everyone. Let's get this ship off the ground. Alara's eyes twinkled with joy. Together. As they worked side by side, the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm glow over their makeshift assembly line. Jonah felt something shifting within him, a connection building among them, reaching beyond cultural divides. In a world so different from his, Jonah found not just allies, but something far deeper, a sense of companionship. With every laugh, every shared goal, the barriers between human and Illyrian began to dissolve, replaced by shared dreams and intentions. Finally, as the sun set, casting an orange hue across the horizon, Jonah glanced at Alara, realizing that while he might have crashed into her world, he was more grateful than ever for the beautiful chaos that had followed. Chapter 3, Fractured Pages. The mornings on Carrie's 9 were unlike anything Jonah had ever encountered. Bright colors splashed across the landscape, the sense of exotic flowers mixing with the gentle rustle of leaves in the warm breeze. Jonah woke early, excitement thrumming in his veins. Today was the day he would try to power up the rising dawn. Ready for another day of adventure? Alara appeared, her energy radiant as she approached him. Absolutely, Jonah replied, running a hand through his hair. I think we're close to getting systems back online. If I can just find a way to reroute the energy, then let's get started, Alara encouraged, her eyes gleaming with determination. As they made their way to the wreckage, Jonah felt a surge of confidence. They had gathered enough materials to give the ship a fighting chance. I'm going to need help with figuring out the energy conduits. They're probably damaged, and I can't do it all myself. Leave that to us, Thorin chimed in as he joined them. I know a bit about energy flow and how to harness it. Great. I could use your expertise, Jonah replied, relieved to have another set of skilled hands. The three of them approached the ship, where clusters of Illyrians lingered, eager to assist. The atmosphere buzzed with activity. All right, team, Jonah called out. Here's the plan. Thorin and I will focus on the energy systems. Alara, can you check the structural integrity of the ship and prepare the external frame? Of course, Alara replied, a smile breaking across her face. Let's see what condition it's in. As they worked, Jonah and Thorin dived deep into the ship's architecture. Jonah pulled out tools explaining how each piece functioned. This is the power converter, he said, pointing to the metallic device. It converts energy from the ship's core into usable power. Fascinating, Thorin said, inspecting the converter closely. If we can repair that, it will be a game changer. Exactly, Jonah affirmed. But first, we have to isolate the damaged conduits. Without that, the whole system is compromised. While Thorin fiddled with the power converter, Jonah's mind raced with possibilities. He felt a connection forming with his companions. something profound and unspoken. Their shared goal unified them, creating a bond he hadn't anticipated. "So, what do you think the first thing you will do on Earth is?" Thorin asked, glancing up from his work. Jonah paused, the question catching him off guard. "Honestly? I'd love to see the ocean again. It's everything." "The ocean?" Thorin repeated, intrigued. "What is it like?" "Imagine endless water, waves crashing, the salty breeze against your skin," Jonah described, his voice tinged with nostalgia. "It's tranquility wrapped in chaos." "I can see why you might miss it," Alara interjected, returning with an array of tools. "What else makes your world special?" Jonah leaned back, resting against the ship's metallic frame. "The art, the music, the diversity of people. Each culture brings something unique to the table. It's a constant evolution of ideas." "Art?" Alara's brow furrowed with curiosity. "What does that entail?" "It's a means of expression," Jonah explained. "It can be painting, dance, literature, anything that reflects our experiences and emotions. People create to connect with one another." "Connection." Alara smiled, her expression thoughtful. "That's important here too. We also share our feelings through music and stories." "Speaking of stories," Jonah continued, eager to learn more about her world, "what's the most famous tale among the Illyrians?" Alara's eyes sparkled. "The tale of the first Luminara. They say a brilliant light descended upon our world, granting us the ability to communicate with nature. It's a story we pass down to understand our origins and our bond with Carrie's Nine." "That sounds beautiful," Jonah remarked, touched by the depth of her culture. "Now, if only we could bring some of that light back into your ship," Thorin said, smirking. Jonah chuckled. "I'll definitely take it if it helps." Moving back to work, Thorin's fingers deftly worked the converter while Jonah focused on ensuring the power conduits were free from any debris. He couldn't help but glance at Alara occasionally, admiring the way she maneuvered around the ship with an ease that seemed so natural. "Here, let me help," Jonah said as Alara struggled to fit a vine around one of the ship's external supports. "Thank you," she exclaimed, grateful for his support as they secured the makeshift materials together. Their hands brushed momentarily, and a jolt of electricity shot through Jonah. He caught her eye, and they shared a moment of understanding. "We're really doing this, aren't we?" he murmured. Alara's smile widened. "Yes, we are. Together." Hours passed, tasks blending into a rhythm of teamwork. Jonah felt the tension easing, laughter breaking sporadically from their efforts. Each laughter-filled moment reaffirmed that they were completing more than just repairs, they were solidifying friendships. "Let's take a break," Thorin suggested, wiping sweat from his brow. "We've earned it." As they settled down in the shade of a massive tree, another group of Illyrians joined them, bearing an assortment of food. "Just in time," Lyra announced, setting down bowls brimming with colorful, exotic fruits. "You all must be starving." Jonah eyed the spread warily. "What exactly is this?" "Something delicious," Alara replied, her eyes sparkling mischievously. "Trust us." Tentatively, Jonah picked up a bright purple fruit. One bite sent a wave of sweet juice bursting through, refreshing and unlike anything he had tasted. "This is amazing." "See?" Lyra winked. "We knew you'd like it." They all chatted, swapping stories and laughter over meals, the weight of work fading into the background. Jonah felt warmth radiating from this newfound community, each story reinforcing the bonds between them. "Do you think you'll share Carrie's Nine's fruits with the people of Earth?" Thorin asked, a playful challenge in his voice. "Absolutely," Jonah responded, feeling invigorated. "Imagine the flavors. I think they'd love it." Alara leaned closer, entranced by Jonah's enthusiasm. "You really do have a way of bringing people together, even when you're not there." Jonah shrugged, a bit abashed. "I just believe we're all connected in some way. Food, music, stories. It binds us." "You have become a part of our stories now," Alara said softly, her gaze locking onto his. Jonah felt his heart race, a profound understanding dawning upon him. As their eyes lingered, Jonah realized he had stumbled into something extraordinary. The connections he formed here transcended mere friendship, they had the power to shape his existence. "Let's finish our work today," Jonah said, breaking the moment yet lingering in its memory. "Tomorrow we might get to see the ship fly." The thought electrified the group, the task at hand igniting a fresh determination. Ram Home began to feel a little more at home among the stars. Chapter 4, The First Kiss. The sun hung high in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over Carrie's Nine. Jonah stood beside the rising dawn, a sense of anticipation coursing through him. After days of hard work and teamwork, the ship was nearly ready for testing. Today was the day, one way or another, he would see if it could fly again. "Is everything powered up?" Jonah called to Thorin, who was busily adjusting the energy converter inside the ship. "Almost." Just a few final tweaks, Thorin replied, his concentration evident. But I think we have a stable flow now. Fantastic. Jonah grinned, turning to Alara, who was overseeing the exterior preparations. Are you ready? More than ever, she said, her eyes twinkling with excitement. I can't wait to see it soar through the sky. Let's hope we're ready for that, Jonah said, his heart racing. He felt the weight of everyone's expectations, their hard work and belief in him surging within. Are you all set on your end? I've reinforced the structure and the vines should handle the strain of takeoff, Alara assured him. She stepped closer, her presence grounding him. Just remember to follow the sequence I showed you. Right, Jonah chuckled, nervous energy bubbling up. Power first, then stabilize the controls. As Jonah climbed into the cockpit, he took a moment to steady his breathing. The controls felt familiar, yet he couldn't ignore the rush of adrenaline. Here goes nothing, he muttered, flipping switches. Powering up the systems now, Thorin called out from below, his voice crackling through the intercom. Can you give me status reports? Jonah asked, maintaining focus on the glowing dashboard. Energy levels are steady, all conduits are secure, Alara replied, glancing at him with encouragement. Okay, initiating launch sequence, Jonah announced. The ship emitted a soft hum, a good sign that everything was operational. He felt a mix of anxiety and exhilaration. A count of seconds ticked away like time itself held its breath. 10, 9, 8, Jonah counted, glancing out at the gathered crowd of Illyrians and their expectant faces. Each count felt like a heartbeat. 3, 2, 1. With a shuddering roar, the rising dawn lifted off the ground. Jonah's grip tightened on the controls as the ship rose higher, wobbling initially before stabilizing. Yes, we're flying, he shouted, unable to contain his joy. Down below, Alara and Thorin cheered, their voices ringing out like music. Jonah maneuvered the ship around the clearing, feeling the thrill of flight surge through him. Adjusting altitude, he commanded, tilting the ship slightly. The view from the cockpit was breathtaking, vast greenery sprawling beneath and the horizon stretching infinitely. Can you see us? Alara yelled, her voice vibrant with excitement. Of course. Jonah laughed, trying to focus on them while flying. I can almost see you waving. Almost? Thorin quipped, rolling his eyes playfully. Okay, I'll be sure to wave back. Jonah replied, exhilarated by their banter. This was more than just an experiment. It was a connection cemented through shared experience. As he soared higher, Jonah activated the ship's external cameras to get a better view of the landscape below. The jungle seemed alive, pulsating with energy. Look at this place. It's extraordinary. We knew you'd come to appreciate it. Alara responded, her pride palpable. Now try a loop. A loop? Seriously? Jonah questioned, his heart pounding. You want me to do a loop? Of course, she encouraged. Don't you want to show off? With a laugh, Jonah steered the ship into a controlled arc. The ship responded with remarkable agility, turning gracefully in the air. This is it, Jonah shouted, adrenaline rushing through him. Hold on. The rising dawn completed the loop, the ship rising then flipping masterfully before righting itself. Jonah felt the exhilaration of flight envelop him. That was amazing, he exclaimed, tears of joy brimming in his eyes. That was well done, Thorin praised, his voice full of excitement. Below, Alara's laughter floated up like music. Now, come down slowly. We need to see you land. Don't worry. I've got this, Jonah replied, confidence surging within him. He focused intently on descending, noting every adjustment in the controls. Get ready for touchdown, Jonah announced, his heart pounding as they neared the clearing. The craft glided down gently, landing with a soft thud, planting itself firmly on the ground. Cheers erupted as Jonah exited the cabin, his smile wide enough to split his face. Alara rushed forward, throwing her arms around him in an exuberant embrace. You did it. You really did it. Thanks to all of you, Jonah replied, feeling her warmth envelop him. He pulled back slightly, searching her eyes as the atmosphere shifted. I'm serious, Alara continued, excitement radiating from her. You brought the rising dawn back to life. Yeah, well, we all did it together, Jonah said, his heart racing not just from the flight but from their close proximity. Their laughter faded into silence, and for a brief moment, the world around them fell away. You know, Alara said softly, stepping closer. This isn't just about the ship. You've become important to all of us. Jonah's heart raced. You mean that? Of course, she whispered, her eyes searching his. You've changed everything for me. You brought light to our world. As he gazed into her eyes, the atmosphere felt thick with something unsaid. The connection between them pulsed like an unspoken promise. Instinctively, Jonah leaned closer, his pulse quickening. Alara, he breathed, feeling an overwhelming desire to bridge the space between them. Their lips met in a tentative kiss, soft yet electrifying. Time stopped, and all he could feel was her warmth against him, the gentle rhythm of their breaths mingling. When they finally pulled away, both were breathless, their foreheads pressed together, lost in the moment. Jonah started, but words escaped him. Just let it be, Alara said, her voice laced with sweetness. This moment is enough. Jonah couldn't help but smile, overwhelmed by the emotions flooding him. This is incredible. Before he could ask anything else, Thorin interjected, breaking the intimate atmosphere. Well, if that doesn't merit a celebration, I don't know what does. And it's not every day we see a human kiss good luck on their spaceship, Lyra added, her grin wide, prompting laughter from the gathered crowd, which helped ease the tension. Jonah chuckled, delighted by the spirited atmosphere. Okay. I guess we should celebrate the rising dawn flying again, along with everything else. First space flight and first kiss, Lyra chimed in, teasing him. Let's not forget how awesome the food was, Jonah replied, playfully rolling his eyes as laughter spilled around them. That evening, they gathered under the canopy of stars, voices raised in celebration. Jonah felt lighter, gratitude pouring through him as he shared his laughter and stories with those who had come to mean so much. The sweet anticipation of a new beginning shimmered in the air. As the night deepened, Jonah found himself turning to Alara, full of wonder. You know, I never thought I'd find a place like this. Or someone like me, she finished, her eyes glinting playfully. Exactly, he said earnestly. Thank you for welcoming me into your world. Together, they laughed under the stars, a joyful reminder that sometimes crashing into a new adventure could lead to unexpected, beautiful connections. Chapter 5, A New Dawn. The next morning arrived with brilliant colors painting the sky, a blend of pinks, oranges, and the softest purples. Jonah woke with a smile on his face, the memories of last night's celebration still fresh in his mind. He slid out of bed, the warmth of the sun pouring through the makeshift window of his temporary shelter. He couldn't help but think about Alara. Their kiss had been unexpected but exhilarating. It felt like a new chapter was opening, one full of potential and adventure. Jonah, come quickly. Alara's voice called from outside, excitement lacing her tone. He hurried out to find Alara surrounded by Lyra and Thorin. What's going on? Jonah asked, eyes widening as he approached. Come and see. Lyra urged, a bounce in her step as she gestured for him to follow. The group made their way through the vibrant jungle, the morning air fragrant with the scent of dew-kissed flowers. Jonah felt a surge of happiness being with them, the camaraderie palpable. They emerged at a clearing, and Jonah's heart raced. Standing before them was a magnificent sight. Other Illyrians had crafted a large gathering area adorned with colorful ribbons, flowers, and magnificent lanterns made of natural materials. A celebratory atmosphere buzzed in the air, with laughter echoing across the space. What is all this? Jonah asked, taken aback. It's in your honor. Alara beamed, her eyes sparkling. We wanted to celebrate not just the rising dawn flying again, but the bonds we formed. Wow, I'm truly blown away, Jonah said, genuinely touched. This is amazing. Come on, let's join the festivities. Thorin said, leading the charge. As they joined the crowd, Jonah felt the warmth of the community envelop him. Different Illyrians danced, the rhythm echoing through the air. Jonah watched, awestruck by their grace. Want to try? Lyra asked, nudging him playfully. Dance? I don't know how, Jonah replied, a hint of hesitation in his voice. Just move. Follow our lead? Alara encouraged, her excitement infectious. Jonah took a deep breath and let himself be swept into the dance. He found himself laughing as he tried to mimic their fluid movements. Alara danced close beside him, providing gentle guidance, her laughter ringing clear. See? You're getting the hang of it, she said. Just don't look down, Jonah joked, nearly tripping over his own feet. The lively energy flowed among them, the merriment lifted Jonah's spirit. He exchanged glances with Alara and the connection sparked anew. Okay, Jonah finally said, panting but grinning, I'm getting the hang of it. Not bad for a human. Thorin chimed in, joining them in the dance. After an exhilarating burst of movement, Jonah collapsed onto the soft ground, panting. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need a water break, he panted, making Alara giggle. Let's fetch something to drink, she suggested, urging him to his feet. The two walked toward a small table adorned with colorful fruits and drinks made from vibrant, pulpy fruits that glistened in the sunlight. This looks delicious, Jonah said, picking up a cup filled with a bright green liquid. He took a sip, eyes widening at the refreshing taste. Wow! What is this? Juice from the Trinok fruit, Alara explained, taking a sip from her own cup. It's one of my favorites. Definitely a winner, Jonah agreed, enjoying the moment of camaraderie. Their laughter continued as they moved back to join the festivities, engaging in various games and discussions with the other Illyrians. As Jonah shared stories from Earth, his experiences with technology, art, and culture, Alara listened intently, her enthusiasm palpable. I can't believe your world is so different, Alara said, her voice filled with wonder. Do you think there's a way for our two worlds to connect more deeply? Absolutely, Jonah replied. If I can help bring back knowledge of Carries 9 to Earth, who knows what could happen? Maybe we could share technology, art, ideas, and build relationships. Just the thought of it excites me, she said, her eyes sparkling. It could expand both our worlds. Suddenly, a familiar face interrupted their conversation. It was Thorin, grinning broadly. All right, everyone. The games will soon begin, he announced. Games? Jonah asked, curiosity piqued. Yes. We play to celebrate together, a mix of fun and competition. Thorin explained enthusiastically. Lyra clapped her hands. Let's start with the relays. Teams will be formed. Are you in? Sure, why not? Jonah agreed, his competitive spirit igniting. Alara's eyes met his, excitement coursing through her. I'm in too. Let's do this together. They formed teams and the festivities continued with a series of light-hearted competitions. Jonah felt the growing camaraderie as they laughed and engaged. Each challenge brought out the best in everyone, and Jonah found himself surprised by how well he fit into this new world. After a few rounds, the energy heightened. Jonah noticed a group of Illyrians gathering for a final event, the Tug-of War. This is going to be epic, Lyra said, her eyes shining. Jonah chuckled. Do we even stand a chance against you all? Of course. Alara chimed in, linking her arm with his. With the right mindset, we can do anything. Jonah smirked, confidence filling him. All right, let's show them what we've got. Teams were divided and the tension in the air was palpable. They grabbed onto opposite ends of a thick vine, their muscles tensing as they prepared for the challenge. On 3. Lyra shouted, counting down. 1, 2, 3. With all their might, they pulled against each other, feet digging into the earth. Alara's strength surprised Jonah and he found himself laughing amid the effort. Come on. Jonah shouted, pushing with all his strength as Alara helped maintain their ground. Together. Alara called, and with one final heave, they surged forward, victorious cheers erupting from their side. After catching their breath, the thrill of victory hung in the air as they celebrated. Jonah felt an unfamiliar warmth settle within him, the kind that comes from not just winning, but belonging. Great teamwork. Thorin praised, clapping Jonah on the back. We make a fine team. Agreed. Jonah beamed, looking around at all the smiling faces. I couldn't have done it without you all. As the celebrations began to wind down, Jonah found a quiet moment with Alara again, secluded from the revelry. The evening light blanketed them in gold and the air was fragrant with blossoms. Today was incredible, Jonah said, turning to her. You made me feel welcomed. Alara's stare locked onto his, her expression serious yet full of depth. You've opened up a world for us too. Not just through the ship, but through your spirit. Spirit? Jonah asked, surprised. Yes, she affirmed, moving a step closer. You remind us how important it is to connect with one another. You've changed the way I see everything. Jonah took a breath, his heart pounding. I want to learn more about your culture and share mine. You've opened my eyes as well, Alara. I hope we can create something special between our worlds, Alara whispered. The air hung heavy with unsaid emotions and Jonah felt drawn to her, an irresistible pull that seemed to defy logic. Their faces lingered so close together that everything around them fell away. Alara, he began, but he didn't need to finish. In a tender and charged moment, they closed the distance, sharing another kiss more profound than the first. It was a promise woven between them, the potential of what could be. As they pulled away, both breathless, Jonah's heartbeat synchronized with the soft hum of the vibrant Carries 9 evening. Here's to new beginnings, Jonah said softly, a smile spreading across his face. Together, Alara responded, her eyes shining in the fading light. In that moment, surrounded by laughter and celebration, Jonah realized Carries 9 had not only become his refuge, it had also become a home filled with friendships and unspoken dreams filled with new, bright possibilities waiting to be explored together.